All right. Hello. Hello. Welcome everybody to the Life Reawakened Show. Happy Monday. I don't know where you are, but it is frigid here in Pennsylvania, 12 degrees, really cold. I think I just looked, it's like a real feel of -6. I know that's warm
Ouch.
compared to, I think, Minnesota and those places, but ooh, it's cold. And we're here with Dr. Allison. Dr. Allison, say hello.
Hello
Yay for a Monday morning. And it's even cold where you are in Florida.
in
So
Florida. Yeah.
it's yeah, you got
Sweaters.
your on.
Yeah, fuzzy slippers. It's cold. Big Irish. No, what is it? It's an Ecuadorian, huge, thick sweater I have to go outside. I'm a baby with the cold, even though I grew up in Boston.
Oh, you grew up in Boston, so you're used to cold.
And it was a choice to leave there. And I've gone to increasingly warmer climates ever since.
I can understand why.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we have a fun call today. An emergency session is how we're putting it, and I'll explain that in a little bit. But first, I would love to say hello. I see Mona from Johannesburg. It's really hot there. Welcome. I'm so happy to have
Good.
you here. Marie from London. Hello. Maria from England. Hello. Bobby. Hey, I just got your email. Hello, Bobby. We got Marianne from Greece. Welcome. Barbara from Missouri. I bet it's cold there. Alicia from Toronto, freezing. Yes, I bet it is freezing there. We got Marie from Quebec. Hello. Marietta from Sweden. Hello. Cindy from Arizona. Catherine from Michigan. Hello. Hello. Oh, Jennifer, Vermont. Yes, I bet it is cold there too.
I saw Portugal. Somebody's here from
Oh,
Portugal.
nice. And I see the Netherlands. I see Germany, Portugal, Canada. Holy moly, Suzanne,
Frozen tundra.
49. Minus
Hey,
49. I don't
did
even
you
think I
say
could.
minus 40? I can't even wrap my brain around
I
that.
can't either. That's cold.
Minus 49.
You even go outside, Suzanne? Or is this like
Great.
normal for you? That is really cold. All right, guys, I see you all. I see Maine, Michigan, -7. Woo. Yeah, that's cold. Yes,
Finland.
freezing. I see a lot of you guys are cold. Maybe we can warm ourselves up today with this call.
Yes, yes, that's what this work does.
I love it. I love it. Oh, Suzanne says, dress like the Michelin man. I can imagine I would be too. So true. So true. All right, guys. So we're going to dive into this. Some of you might not know Dr. Allison, so let me introduce her to you. Dr. Alison Kay has secrets no one else uses to upgrade, inspire, and disrupt old paradigms within her community and the collective. She is an award-winning #1 best-selling international author and the founder of the Vibrational Upgrade System. She's an experienced subtle energies practitioner and natural healer with a holistic approach towards helping others thrive in mind, body, and spirit. This is reinforced by her 10 years in Asia studying subtle energies and ancient wisdom. With 20 years over 20 years working in and teaching yoga, meditation, energy medicine, mind body fitness, longevity, and holistic health with a specialized focus on the chakra system. Dr. Allison brings a unique perspective that facilitates massive change. Dr. Allison's mission is to support the next higher evolution of the collective and create change for the health of this planet and those who are ready to unleash every part of the magic within them. I love that. Backed by the potency of her vibrational upgrade container, she hosts a wildly popular Activate Your Magic monthly program synced with the potency and support of the moon and offering group clearings and activations. And today we're talking ancient secret codes for modern manifestation. I
So
am
excited.
so excited to dive into this with you, Dr. Allison, today, because it is a really important topic and great for this year. And we're still in January. So officially, welcome to the call.
Hi, everybody. So happy to be here with you all.
We're thrilled to have you here. So let's warm ourselves up and dive right in. The emails I sent out to you guys, I really talked about the urgency of this session today, this emergency session with Dr. Allison, because the way she presented it to me is 2025, like energies are pretty ripe for us to be diving into this topic of modern manifestation. So talk to me a little bit about why this year, what's going on?
Yeah, okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Alison J Kay, and let's just start with this I also teach Qigong. So what I'm doing is a raising and lowering of the Qi. So feel free to move your palms like that. So Qigong is slow because it's what all martial arts are based on. So you want to bring that down to your top of your belly, the solar plexus chakra. So actually your hands are going up, and then see if you could, what you can perceive under your hands. See if you can perceive any of the energy you're moving through. You want to go down to, because most of you are seated. Many of you probably laying down if you're from across the pond and beyond. And now bring your hands together like this. You're not going to be pushing them together. I want you to you're not ever going to touch them. I just want you to be aware of what you're perceiving in between your hands, basically the palm area. Really slow. You're not going to bring them together. See what you're perceiving. About an inch apart, centimeter and a half apart, and up. Start pulling them back out. What are you all perceiving between your palms? Bring them back together, close together, not totally. Slow, slow. And you guys might want to do this. This is really good too. You rub your hands now and just go up your face, the center, down the sides, up your face, down the sides. 3 times. Now we're getting into some of the beauty tips and waking up your face and not aging and wrinkle reduction with Qigong, which we're going to stop there before I go there. So what did you guys perceive? What are you seeing them say, Gretchen?
I see Jennifer said like pulling taffy, and Marie said heavy energy. Hands were shaking a little bit.
So
I
go ahead.
I felt like a ball, like I could feel heat, warmth, and then like a ball of energy there.
Yes, yes. Because you guys, if you tuned in beyond the physical, that's just 3D operation, old paradigm, right? Physical clapping. And we're still in that physical world, but we're living in a much more vibrationally awake, subtle energy awake world. And so there is a golden ball. Our palms actually, as well as the soles of our feet, have minor chakras. And so there is energy between them, and it is like a golden ball. That's how it's taught in Qigong. I'm glad that you felt heat. Some of you may felt tingling up here in your fingertips. Some of you may have been able to perceive the resistance. And we're going to talk about that pull, and it's totally fine, Melissa, and everybody who's out there saying, I didn't feel anything. So this is a great part of what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to dial down being so used to operating on the physical plane and the yangness of our world, particularly in the West, particularly in the States, even more so, where we're used to powering through, forcing, making happen, going for goals, action. And we're going to be bringing in more of what I learned in the West. Is that even though I was already doing this work before I ever went over there, I went into the international school system by interviewing with a bunch of people. I'll talk about that later, and ended up choosing Asia so I could learn about to enhance how I could get even more robust results for my clients, which were energy medicine sessions as my side gig, and already a meditation teacher and already doing yoga. So the yin is subtle energy. It's the invisible. It's what our eyes don't perceive, the beyond the physical. In the physical, the yang is the masculine, and that's when we take action steps and step out in the physical, visible world you can see. So I got back from the decade in Asia in 2010. You guys can relax. I'm going to be telling a bit of a story here. And I'm listening. My guidance is actually telling me to emphasize that. I was a classroom teacher in the state of Florida, and did that for 2 years, and was completely aware that because I had already done a lot of international travel and had a sense of adventure and just wanting to get up to as much as possible when in a physical body on the planet. Like I've done raves and jungles in Thailand. I've gone bungee cord jumping in Joburg, South Africa, just all around the planet, tromping around, and also knew there was a sense of abundance. And I wasn't getting that. One Saturday morning, I looked at my checkbook, wasn't pre-digital banking, wasn't happy with what I saw. And then also that week-ish, one of my first clients, I had my hands over her abdomen, and we were both so excited. It was like her second or third session in a series of 5 or 10, actually it was 10. And we were both really excited about the results. And I looked up at the ceiling and I'm like, oh my God, how can I get even more robust results for my clients? So those two coalesced. I went over to Asia in my time, not at work. I became an administrator too, and not at the gym, because I'm also a personal trainer and a gym rat. I went out and got treatments, holistic ancient treatment. So I would be sitting there getting I got weekly reflexology and weekly Tui-Na massages, which is a traditional Chinese massage. And my first reflexology treatment ever, the old requirements were that they had to have stumps and be blind. So originally the Chinese reflexology comes from the Taoist. Tao is the philosophic culture behind traditional Chinese medicine, behind the yin yang, behind acupuncture, behind all of it, behind Qigong. Whereas the Vedic sciences are what's behind yoga. So these are two different ancient systems that I go extensively into in my first book, What If There's Nothing Wrong, that I actually wrote my last year in Asia it started as my dissertation for my PhD. And so I was exploring how energy flows. So I would sit there and like my first reflexology treatment, I was with a friend, we were traveling, and I screamed out loud because they were required to be blind so they could really feel the pressure. They could really see and perceive without the senses being attuned to the visual external world, which is a main aspect of meditation, turning down the sensory perception, the 5 physical senses, to being so used to only looking at what's in front of us in the physical world visible. Yeah. You guys are starting to, I can feel it. You guys are starting to turn it down, the attunement to the physical world, and understand there's a lot more that goes on in the invisible world. And that's what I've studied. So I would ask, that sit there with a chart, and one of my points on my feet, when they'd press it, I'd be like, oh, if it hurt. And I'd look at the chart and ask them in my Chinese, what is that? And they'd tell me. And then on my Chinese New Year breaks between semesters, I traveled all throughout Southeast Asia. I eat, pray, love.
Yeah.
You know that traditional treatment she got from the traditional Balinese female healer?
Yes.
I went to her before Eat, Pray, Love Barbara's ever went. Yeah, garlic chopped up in a cream all over my legs. I mean, it across from this Buddhist health food store in Ubud, Bali. So I was exploring how energy flows, and then I capped off the decade with going in between Chinese New Year, on my Chinese New Year break in between semesters, to India to get my formal meditation yoga teacher certification in an intensive. There are two very different systems. So why I'm saying all of this now is I came back to the States with the mission of, my God, if we only paid attention in the West more to, not even just paid attention, but understood there is a total science behind how subtle energy operates and its ancient wisdom. And if we reattuned our focus, we would have so much less suffering and so much more thriving in the West. My secondary mission has been to professionalize the field of energy medicine, to never say energy work, because it is a science and it deserves a profession. So all of that having been said, great receiving well. 2011, I got asked by Voice America, randomly, it seemed to me, to host a weekly radio show about the Mayan galactic alignment on December 21st, 2012. And now I was doing nothing public facing about the Mayans, but I had been taking clients on VIP retreats down to the Mayan ruins in the Yucatan. I'm on the west coast of Florida, so it's just like an hour hop, skip, and a jump across the Gulf of Mexico. And so I said, give me 24 hours, 48. It was a Friday, I think. And so I said, give me the weekend. I called him back, and because it was a huge yes. It was very clear to my intuitive system, this is a go, even though I didn't know what I was doing. So I ended up interviewing experts on December 21st, 2012, to the point, weekly, for 2.5 years, to the point of ending up being one of the experts on a cruise, being asked to teach meditation and do energy medicine sessions down as we were cruising from Florida down to the Mayan Riviera is what it's called. And I ended up at Chichen Itza, which is where they actually designed the calendar from. I had been there many times. This time we got permission to do a special ceremony with a Mayan shaman at Chichen Itza. TV crews were there from all around the world. I had clients as far away as Poland tell me they had seen me on TV and the ground was pulsating. And I had just been there the year before and it wasn't when I was there every other time before that. What I came to learn is that we are in what's considered the greatest evolutionary leap for humanity ever. It's a 20-year window from 2012 to 2032. Now, I've written 3 of my 4 books about this, and I have been tracking all the way through, even before 2012. And there have been various waves of people awakening, because a nickname for these times is humanity's awakening times. A further name for these times is goosebumps. Cool. Yeah, you guys are receiving a transmission. I download keys and codes from my field just from listening to me and looking at me. So another nickname for these times is humanity's spiritual awakening times. And like I said, there's been waves of awakening. I remember 2016 being particularly strong. A lot of people were awakening. I didn't talk about COVID a lot because I had already been tracking with the waves of people awakening. And so I believed that, I perceived from what I knew that COVID was like a net, like you go fishing or you want to catch butterflies. Most of us here don't want to catch butterflies, but that kind of a net.
Right.
COVID acted as a net to help pick up the people who hadn't yet awakened and force them to go more inside, slow down, and connect into more than just the physical plane. And so it's a 20-year window. Now you could divide it up logically, sequentially, which is all a masculine yang behavior of the mind. Excuse me, but my background is in psychology. My bachelor's started for 3 semesters in psychology. And after the 3rd semester, I left it because I was like, you're not answering the question I came in here with. How do I be the most joyous, thriving version of myself? And then how do I help others do that?
Yeah.
So I've been answering it holistically ever since. And I say that because I have a specific understanding about neurology, because then I was asked to teach AP Psych, a psychology course, preparing kids later when I was an international school teacher, after having also taught meditation and been a meditator. So I revisited psychology from like a decade and a half after being a meditator and teaching it. So I have a lot of interesting understanding about how neurology works in that coupled way. Working with the Dalai Lama, he had every other year summits with psychologists and behavioral scientists that would come over to where he is in the Himalayas, and they would hash out how meditation, how they could start measuring the effects of meditation to communicate to the West the benefits. So our neurology is changing. And so part of the neurology that is very young and old paradigm is concrete sequential thinking, needing things to be logical in order to choose it. More of the yin neurology shows up like going within, allowing yourself to have spaciousness, meaning something that relaxes you, whether that's nature or a massage or a bath, so that in that spaciousness, non-activity, you're able to perceive beyond the physical plane and even hear intuitive guidance. And so I'm saying all of this because in the 20-year window we're in, you could think concrete sequentially. The first 10 years, 2012, 2022, now we're in the 2nd decade, right? Sorry about that. And so this new era we're moving into, we're creating together, we're co-creating together. And we're meant to be in a more balanced yin yang state. We're meant to be able to create this new golden era, is another way of saying it, where there's unity, there's a much more peaceful, harmonious existence. There's beauty for the earth and our treatment of her and what we're choosing in that regard, because that was my first career, actually, was protecting the environment through politics. There's so much more. Yeah, I've written literally 3 of my 4 books about this, so I don't want to go into too much detail about that, just other than quantum physics has shifted during this time too, and I talk about that a lot in my first book. Quantum physics has finally gotten on board with being able to prove that. So there was a study done, and they were used to being able to control aspects of studies in the laboratory. That's why they did lab controlled studies, more than the natural observation studies. And in the laboratory, they expected a certain outcome. And what happened is they became aware that with those expectations of that certain outcome, that's actually what happened. I'm summarizing it without the details. So that revolutionized the halls of orthodox science, so much so that Einstein didn't even want to go there. And so he just stayed deepening his theory, the grand theory of everything beyond the theory of relativity. He'd already come out with that. We're living in a backdrop that's no longer like Newtonian physics, where 1 + 1 = 2, where the apple falls from the tree, it's predictable. So we're in a quantum science-based kind of vibrational backdrop where quirks, leaps, jumps, unexpected stuff can happen, and we are much more vibrationally, energetically sensitive. And so one of the main aspects of these times is moving into understanding how our thoughts, our expectations of how something's going to go that we then project out are actually creating reality, so that we can become much more conscious co-creators and create a much cleaner existence that's much more elevated. We're all meant to be upgrading our consciousness now, and it's happening anyway. And that's what I said, COVID was a bit of this contribution. So the times that we're in this year, it is the thick of it. This is the turning point. So it's not that 10-year distinction. We're at a turning point where we are really, people are going to be able to see how their thoughts create reality in a much quicker, more direct way. So I will say this, the reason why I think Gretchen may have said emergency is because what I have seen is people will use a crisis to crack their ego shell. In Buddhist meditation, there is a statement that is, every human mind is neurotic. It's like the basic tenet. I don't mean to say it's a statement. It's a basic tenet of meditation, which Buddha took up and out of yoga and then focused on meditation and spread it throughout Asia. Every human mind is neurotic. Here are the tools with which to work with your own particular flavor of neuroses. So understanding the way that your most habitual self-talk thought patterns, that's only, science says 15%. I say it's more like 5%. From everything I've seen from the decades of working with thousands of people, I see it as more like our daily choices are made from only 5% of the thoughts you can hear.
Wow.
85% of it is what I've come to call the back of the house consciousness, your subconscious and your unconscious. And we're making our daily choices from a lack of consciousness. So the work that I do with Vibrational Upgrade is through the subtle energy system, not just the chakra column, but through the fields. I help people clear out density like trauma, karma, conditioning, parental imprints, that's just a few. So that locked down energy is able to be released and become fresh consciousness that is a speeding up of the results of meditation. Because in meditation, the 5,000-year-old tradition, we're expected to have our sensory perceptivity increase slowly the more that we expand our consciousness. So the work that I do is speeding that up so that we have more fresh consciousness which to make conscious choices from. That's the applied mindfulness part of Vibrational Upgrade System. So it's the energy medicine that does the clearings and activations and gets at the density. And then the applied mindfulness part helps people then be able to become more and more conscious of their choices, of their self-talk, and then the carving out a new neurological pathway to create new self-talk, so that from the thoughts that you hear now, you're more able to have the blinders off, your peripheral vision, so to speak, has opened up more, and you're able to see and perceive more of the subtle energies. And so that also includes when you're in the path of manifesting something, a desire that you're shooting out to the universe. I'm using LOA, law of attraction language right there, that you are able to track what you're seeing. Like the universe sends messages as you're on a path to manifesting something. So it's a different way to go about, I have a goal. I have these 5 steps for my strategy, and I must meet each step in this timely way. And then I'll meet the goal. And you just keep pushing through and sticking to that plan. The strategies and the plans are not the way to live anymore. In co-creation, like one of the big, and so I've been working, you guys, when I came back, I was expecting, I did workshops at spiritual churches, metaphysical centers, crystal stores, yoga centers, expecting to teach about holistic health and wellness and the spiritual path. And I was doing workshops, and I was aware that, man, these people just aren't able to receive this as well as they could be. What's going on? I said to my guidance, and after like month 2 of it, and what I learned was, okay, so this is from the market crash in 2009. Which I had been tucked away in Asia. I ultimately increased my net cash flow by 60% from that intentional choice I made. And so I was tucked away and fine with that. So what I did was I became unexpectedly, ridiculously proficient in clearing people's money blocks. Then I ended up, because of my experience with the experts about the nature of the times we're in, and then writing 3 of my 4 books about it, I started a program called Magic, Manifestation, and Money Flow. So I have been like in a laboratory for the last, what are we in, 2025? For the last 15 years, beyond what I already was talking about, the psychology, the neurology, the meditation teaching, the energy medicine sessions, in the act of manifestation. Because I have through this program, people come in and I watch the typical blocks now, not only with money, but with manifestation. And one of the key areas people mess their desire from manifesting up is they quit before it's too soon. And one of my passions has become like helping to, and this is a lot of what's on the page and why many of you I sense it here, is the law of attraction isn't as simplified as it's made out on social media. And there's so much misinformation. You can hear you in my tone. Yeah. You can see it in my face. I have so many people come to me and say, I knew there was something beyond. I'm like literally quoting somebody who came into Magic, Manifestation, and Money Flow, and then moved into my mastermind and actually became a vibrational upgrade practitioner because I train. So
nice.
It's brilliant. I can get people so far if you give me the time to work with your system and work with you. And then we take the training wheels off using my intuitive connection as we turn up yours. And so one of the things I'm saying is that people don't know how to read the signs. And so this woman said to me, Alison, I knew something more was available and I knew about the LOA, but I didn't know how to access it. You got me there. You didn't just show it to me. You got my system positioned to do it. So there's a way that our fields, the invisible fields that surround our physical body, that are created from our consciousness, which is interchangeable and runs throughout our chakra column, communicates to the universe. So I've learned ways to tweak the subtle energy system so that your voice is stronger and you are more heard from the universe. And one of the ways I see people mess up is they'll cast a desire out, air quotes because of the LOA language, and they won't perceive the signs as it's happening, right? You can't yell at a plant to grow in a garden, right? You can, feel free to, but it's not going to make the plant grow. Right. So we're working with this like organic process that I see, not just feel, people applying our existence with a click. So instant gratification, you go to the movies, it's surround sound, IMAX, really loud. And like we're used to instant gratification, loud, visible, physical stuff. And this is on like a whisper, a feather, a parachute dropping in kind of plane. And working from that plane is going to help you in the energies that we're living in this year in particular, because something has popped open. It's almost like I just saw, that's so fun. I just saw a treasure chest pop open.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's like the treasure chest has been popped open. So all the work that many of us on the front cutting edge of consciousness and on the front leading this, which is, never mind.
So
All the work we've done, we're like finally there.
and that's my question is, you're saying that, is it, so the whispers, we've all been getting whispers and not paying attention or stopping too soon. Is that shifting with this year, that we're going to be able to understand and hear more? Like, how is that
Yes.
part? Okay.
And interestingly, next week we move into the year of the snake. And if you think of a snake with its belly, it slithers on the earth, right? And so our biggest sensory organ is our skin. And so the snake has a strong intuition, and the energies we're going to be living in, it's going to be a lot more alive at the subtle energy level. So you guys have probably seen birds after COVID. A lot of people were saying it's because the earth got still. We stopped pounding on it with our cars and all our activity. You saw more birds, you saw changes in the earth, in wildlife. It's not just because of COVID.
Okay, that makes
So
sense.
we're gonna see more of that. You guys might want to believe in the rainbows that you catch out of the corner of your eye a little bit more. One of the things I've been saying since about 2018 is you guys are gonna want to put your rose-colored glasses on, and we're gonna want to clear out the cynicism taught about rose-colored glasses. And if it sounds too good to be true, it is. Like, we need to clear out the cynicism because we are moving into what seems like an ideal time.
Yeah, that's huge because I think that so many of us have put that up, whether it's because I'm glad you brought that up because, oh, yeah, because that's a huge thing for me. Okay, so a lot of us have been like weaving the LOA since The Secret came out, right? And expanding our thoughts, of course, like from that, like we've all expanded our thoughts. But I believe for me and myself, I become have more cynicism from it because,
Oh my God, I'm so glad you said that.
I do. Yeah, I definitely do.
Okay, all right, let me just respond and then I want to ask you a question. That's what I was talking about. Like, when you started to hear my tone, when I pointed to my tone and I said, look at my face, look at my tone. I was I'm so upset, I'm stuttering. This really upsets me because there is so much misinformation out there about the LOA. So many people get turned off from it and see that it doesn't work after they try it for a week. I'm going to manifest $1 million. I thought that this stuff works. It hasn't shown up yet. Why hasn't it worked? Like those kind of ludicrous statements, right? But dialing it down into a little bit more of a realistic positioning, people just don't know what they're doing with it. There is so much misinformation out there and it's so overly simplified and then it's confusing. This is
Yeah.
this path of enlightenment, humanity, spiritual awakening. It's like applying yogic principles, Vedic science from 5,000 years ago. That is a time proven science. You have to open up and make progress within you so that your system opens up more, so that you're able to more effectively communicate with the subtle energy. You can't approach it from going out, buying a new car, going to a building every day where you're driving that new car to that building, being around a bunch of other people in a cubicle or in an office on your computer, talking to people, having flow charts that you're either drawing or you're on a computer showing strategies like out there in the world, and then expect to be able to drive home and say, I would like $1 million. And why hasn't it manifested yet? A week later, I know I'm exaggerating and overstating it, but it really frustrates me because these are the subtle energies. And one of the key ways is what you said, the secret. And I use the law of attraction. I have fun stories I could go into. I'm not going to getting out there. It's that helped open up us here in the West to the subtle energies that I came back from Asia then talking about. And so I have an in-depth, I don't know anybody else, and most other summit hosts talk about this. I don't know anybody else who has such an understanding in depth of how the subtle energy system works, along with the neurology applied to manifestation. So I get so upset on behalf of people because it's like they end up being turned off from believing, and then the cynicism sets in. So tell me one of your pieces of cynicism.
Well, I just so now a lot of times, oh, well, I really shouldn't say this, but I'm going to. I like roll my eyes, like, you
But
know,
what?
to when people bring up law of attraction or even just manifesting in general. It's just okay. I understand the concept and I understand but can I will something into existence? Is that possible with just my thoughts? I don't know. I don't know if I believe that or not. And it all stems from I didn't even know what the heck it was until The Secret came out. So exactly like what you said, like it brought an awareness up for us for possibility and all of that. And so that part I get, but I know the cynicism started from that particular time because it was it came at a time where I had lost my job. I wanted to start this business. I wanted clients to come in. And so I sat there. I can remember sitting at okay, I read this book. I have all the tools. Here I go. I like made
Right.
for all my clients that are going to come in. And so I sat there and waited. And that sounds so ridiculous. Now, granted, years old, but it sounds so ridiculous. Like I sat there waiting for them. If I just see them and visualize them, they're all going to be coming out in, and I know what they're going to be like and what they're going to feel like. And I didn't get one of them. I didn't get one client through it.
I do.
Yeah. So that it definitely, yeah, and it is definitely flawed. And so that kind of thing is definitely, obviously, a trigger for me.
I love it. You saw me getting triggered because of this exact thing you're talking about. It's the introduction of opening up to more than just what we're used to on the physical plane. And it was done in a great way. But then all the people who get turned on to it and then want to teach about it after learning about it for a week, they're misteaching, they're giving misinformation, but everybody wants to talk about it because of the nature of the times we're in. So one of the ways to think about it, this is based on ancient wisdom. One of
Right.
the ways but it is a process again, and it's basically the path of enlightenment. So folks used to go into ashrams or in caves for like decades to get to this point. And what I'm doing is helping to speed it up. So we're living in the modern world. That's why you have the title you do for our time together today. It's applied in our modern world. And in the nature of these times now, how do you work in alignment with the vibrational backdrop we're living in, with the energy we're living in now? Because all of you know it's different than it was 5 years ago, than even 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You look at the way you brought in this new year, it felt different, did it not?
Oh, it hit me like a ton of bricks. The energy from December 31st to January 1st, I could definitely like, whoa, this is going to be.
Huh? Okay, so did you guys, have you seen like the shows about like hippies in the 60s and wearing the bell bottoms with flowers all on their pants and all of that? So isn't there a song from the 60s that's like Age of Aquarius?
Yeah.
We're in that.
Yeah.
Pluto, the planet, just went into the sign of Aquarius and will be there until, I don't even know when, I think it's 2044, but I'm not a professional astrologer. I defer to them. The emphasis, the influence is part of the energy change or shift that you perceived after the new year. So every chakra corresponds to different planets. There's chakras above our crown chakra. We are so connected. It's not just above. We are so connected to and a part of the macro. So there's in Qigong, there's a microcosm, macrocosm practice. So that, I don't know if any of you have ever seen, for example, the Merkaba. These are really high advanced spiritual things I'm talking about right now. But I'm doing it because it is a process. It is an opening over time. And so as you come more into alignment from a high, so you're not just taking your conclusions from the conditioning from society, like in order to be considered successful, I have to live in this type of a house, drive this type of a car, have this level of income. All of that is conditioning and imprints from your parents. And so to be able to get free, to actually perceive what your unique being is here to create, we have to clear that out. And as we clear that out, that density, all right, so here's another example. You could be, Gretchen, what do you have for siblings?
I have a sister, a younger sister.
Younger, you're the older. That makes sense. Responsible Gretchen.
Yes.
Right. So that is one of the things you learn, right? To be responsible for the younger sibling if you're the elder, right? And one of the conclusions could be you're around with you're growing up 0 to 2. We don't have any separation from our parents. We perceive and feel everything that they are at age 2, which is why it's called the Toba Twos, because we're going, no, we're starting to separate from our parents and the ego development happens. And so as the ego development is happening from ages 2 to 8, we're looking around wondering, how does it work on planet Earth here? So you could see your younger sister getting like all of this, please forgive me, I'm just, okay. You could see your younger sister like getting all of this attention when she wears cute dresses, and you could have preferred jeans. So when she wears those dresses, let's say she gets this yummy feel that's like approval and smile and pat on the head from dad. So then you come up with the childlike, because it is at you're our child, the childlike conclusion of, in order to get approval and that yummy feeling, I have to dress up pretty. And so that gets lodged. And so you could find yourself overly emphasizing makeup, overly emphasizing always having to look good in order to get love, always having to look good in order to get a romantic partner, overly emphasized, that could block you from allowing yourself to appear without makeup. That could block you from allowing yourself to attract somebody who's actually going to be better for you as a romantic partner, because you're creating a certain persona with having to look pretty that may not ultimately be how you feel. And then you're attracting somebody based on that more superficial level from your programming, meaning from your imprints and conditioning that are unconscious. And so I clear stuff like that out, literally clear stuff like that out, and then give it the opposite for the positive benefit. I am lovable. I am worthy of approval. I value myself. Those are just 3 examples of what I would do in the clearing and activation series, which we'll get into in a bit. So by loosening up the consciousness that ends up happening by the time you're like 20, instead of repeating what your parents did and what your society does and having more choice, you're actually, because all of our thoughts relate it. I don't mean conscious mind thoughts, because again, you only hear 5 to 15% of the actual thoughts, conclusions, beliefs that you have. That's revolution if you even consider that.
Yeah, crazy.
And it's the core reason why LOA doesn't work. Because people are casting out, I want to have 5 new clients this week. And your prices are like at a level that you don't believe you're worthy of, nor do you believe you're worthy of having an easy time, having it come in easy. You're of the conditioning that I must work to earn what comes to me. And if you're a female in particular, you're probably up to, I must prove I am worthy of, right? So this is what gets cast out to the universe, the unconsciousness, because all of this becomes your vibration that you speak with your invisible field around your physical body. So that's why it doesn't work.
Yeah, it makes so much sense.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah, it really does.
So the chakras each cover a domain of life. So one of the key aspects of the throat chakra, beyond the communication, because that's an overly simplified thing, and I'm talking about the chakras at a level where you don't go on YouTube and listen to sound healing crystal bowl for 10 minutes and think that chakra is great. I'm talking about going where these blocks land, depending on what the chakra is involved with. So the third chakra is about self-confidence. The third chakra is about empowerment. The third chakra also has, you know how when you've seen the symbols of the chakra, it looks like it's a symbol and then it's a flower and there's like petals around it. I feel like I lost some of you right there. Something just happened. Some of you are getting judgy out there. So what's happening is I'm calling up your blocks. Now that we're getting into this, I'm like a flute, right? A person who learns to play an instrument. I've learned to play my system and have used it for decades in this way that because I just started talking like that, I'm starting to clear you all at a new level. And now some of you are having resistance come up.
Makes sense.
The ego mind wants to hold on to its beliefs because the ego mind, which is the intellect, the thoughts you do hear, its job is to keep us safe and to protect us. Good shifting out there. Very good. Yes, I feel you. Yes, that's my nickname's Hawkeyes because of the perceptional capacities I have to go directly into a block and see it of a lifelong pattern. I'm not even overstating that. It wasn't helpful in my 20s when I was like wanting to date through someone. It was good too, in a way. It was a little bit much for guys in their 20s. I call them boys. So the flower petals, the lotus that somebody offered. Yeah. Thank you. Those are the aspects. So the crown chakra has 1,000 lotus petals. So there's a lot of aspects to the crown chakra. The root has 2. So what I'm listing for like the solar plexus for its aspects, confidence, power, when you're in a power struggle with somebody, you get courted. That's also an aspect of the solar plexus, the top of the belly. Anxiety is there. Your ability to feel and sense what other people feel is there. Inner child is there. Element of joy is there. And we manifest not only from the solar plexus chakra, but a lot of the aspects and qualities needed for manifesting sit in the solar plexus chakra. So if I've just cleared, I'm not worthy of having an easy time doing what I love and having clients pay for me, then that's going to correspond to the upper belly, the solar plexus chakra, because unworthiness or not having confidence is in the solar plexus chakra. So now, because chakra means wheel from Sanskrit to English, it can turn a little bit more of the vital life force energy or the chi or the prana or the ki, Reiki, Qigong, prana, yoga. The vital life force energy can now, the wheel can turn a little bit more because the aspect is open like a fan, and it can spread out in that region of the body. So a chakra is an intersection of the mind, the body, and the spirit. And that's how I can access past life stuff and karmic stuff. So if my throat chakra, I've just cleared. So yes, the beginning thing about it is the communication. I perceive I'm heard. I don't lie. I speak with integrity. I have an easy time speaking my truth. The second level that I discovered, like in 2014 or 15, I'd had so many clients. I was still doing hands-on much more than I do now. I barely even do one-on-ones anymore. It's mostly group events and group programs. All of my clients, and I don't use those extreme words easily, all of my clients started to show me on the table between their heart chakra and their throat chakra, there was some kind of connection that wanted to get made that I had never seen before. I came to call that the co-creators channel, to be able to create from our heart. And when I say from our heart, I just mean if something uplifts you, if something excites you, that's simply your intuition talking. Chinese and the Taoist and the Vedic culture, Chinese and yogic, both believe that the spirit resides in the heart. So creating from your heart, the throat chakra is where we make choices from. There's another whole element of courage to the throat chakra. So you might have a tight neck. You might have an issue with your thyroid if you feel like you're limited and you in your choices. Like you have to stay in this job in order to earn the money to keep the health insurance if you're in the United States, right? Last industrialized nation that still doesn't have that taken care of for its citizens. So anyway, sorry, a little side tangent there. Yeah, the chakra will get clearer and it will turn more that vital life force energy in the throat, neck, thyroid, because every chakra is related to major gland of the endocrine system. And the biggest gatherings of our nerve plexes are along the spine where each of the chakras are. So neurotransmitter, neuroreceptor. So our electrical communication is improved, our chemical communication is improved, our physiology is improved. We have more vital life force energy permeating out now in our field because these are open and spinning more, and these chakras create the field. Getting a bit too advanced for our topic today, but with that field more open, like the heart chakra, I'm worthy to receive. If that's open and casting that out to the universe, it's going to be easier for you to manifest. So there's a way to get your subtle energy system, like an instrument, attuned to being a successful co-creator, because we're not manifesting. We are listening to our intuition, like it drops in, like that feather whisper or the parachute, instead of the loud noise of the thinking mind, the ego mind. Drops in, we hear it. When we get a high enough vibration, also, we're more, when we clear enough of the ego mind in our stuff I've been talking about, let me just put it that way, we're able to, we are higher vibration. And so then that corresponds with more divine guidance. And we're letting ourselves be more infused with the light and the divine intelligence. So then that becomes co-creation. So then now we're talking about being a bridge between heaven and earth. And then when you're doing co-creation, it is so much easier. I am in a constant state of creation. We all are, whether we believe it or not. So you can make your miscreations, and this is not the year to do that. So you cannot know about this. You cannot work with your inner system. And you're going to see, one of the things I learned about 2025 that I was perceiving, as well as in the review from the professional astrologers, is everybody, whether they're into this or not, this manifesting LOA, are going to start to see even more than ever before how our thoughts create reality. So you want to get a handle on this.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. My hands are like pulsating. I'm just like, it's very cool. Yeah, really cool. There were a couple questions here. Let me see if I can find them.
Sure there are.
There's a lot, but one in particular that I saw a while
While
ago.
you find it, I'm going to step away for a sec.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, thanks.
I don't remember who wrote. Oh, this is it. Kirsten. I'm going to ask her your question. This is a good question. We all have great questions, and I'll get to them, but I knew this one was a while ago. So I want to make sure I ask this one because that's important. Any other questions you guys can ask? And then Alison has a group process for us, and she will be talking one-on-one with you guys. I see a bunch of hands raised, but if your hand is not raised, you can hit the react button and raise your hand that way. And then also, while she stepped away, I'm going to put the link to her offer so you have it. If you're interested, you can check that out. And also, the reason why I'm posting it is because she does have a session in there. I think it's an add-on to the program. I think there's only 10, if I remember correctly. So if you want one of those, and I don't want you to miss those if you're able to do that. But yeah, there's 10, and I think you have to take it by the end of the month, end of January. So you have to book that session. I hear her say yes. So I just want to make sure you guys have that link. If you want that session, then you can jump in there.
Burning up because I'm running so much healing energy.
I almost took my sweater off because I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
I'm taking my scarf off.
not a good day to wear a turtleneck.
Oh,
Okay, so I found
there
this,
we go.
which I thought it's from Kirsten. She said, what if not having desires and feel more not apathetic, but zero desire for anything?
That's depression. That's suppression of your higher self. That's suppression of your spirit. That's suppression of you. And that's common because it's actually, and so you're asking a great question. What's her name?
Kirsten.
Kirsten. Okay. And you are actually having desires. You just can't hear them. You can't perceive them because the ego mind has been running the show. And one of the things that happens, remember before when I was like, what's going on out there? I can feel you guys getting, what's going on? And I realized the resistance was getting triggered and clearing. It's that same kind of thing, like your systems before they're going to elevate or upgrade in the ways I've been talking. The ego mind goes into resistance. Have you guys, when there's a choice that I don't use the word should, but like in our nomenclature, in our society, if you should lose weight, you should exercise. You know how hard it is to get yourself to do what you don't want to do? This is an example of that. It's the ego mind's resistance to change because it's perceiving at a deeper level that there's change that's happening. So one of the
Depression or suppression?
It's both.
Oh,
so
okay.
check it out. Let me get that more specific. Yeah. So Kirsten and everybody, the solar plexus chakra, the one I was talking about, that's very much central to manifesting. Whenever we get a new desire, and you're not going to perceive this, whenever we get a new desire, some of you may perceive it. Let me correct myself. More vitality, vital life force energy is released in our system from the root to have the energy to follow through on that desire. Because you know how change takes energy. Things stay the same. You don't need to expend a lot of energy. You can just sit on the sofa. To get off the sofa and to make a change, you need more energy because it's not staying the same. Staying the same doesn't require energy. So when we have a new desire, our system, this is one of the most fascinating things. My second book is called Vibrational UPgrade, A Conspiracy for Your Bliss. And it's called A Conspiracy for Your Bliss this is one of the reasons. Looking at the design that I've learned that our chakra column has, it's the creator designed us to be blissful and joyous. It's phenomenal. And this is one of the ways. So our system, we're miracles here. our system releases energy when we get a new desire. And if it sits in the solar plexus, that vitality for manifesting. And if we don't go for it, follow through on it, that suppresses that released energy and it ends up like depression.
Okay, that makes perfect sense.
So if you're not hearing your desires, you're going to want to, it's good you're here. You're going to want to start opening up and just listening to these clearings and activations. You're going to want to get the package and open yourself up, frankly, and lighten yourself up. And one of the other things that I see too, when people say something like that, is you're not able to yet discern your intuition. Because the desires can come in many different forms. They can come in, like I talked earlier about you feeling uplifted, excited about something. That's simply a yes. Your spirit's communicating yes to you. When you have the feather or the parachute, lighter, softer voice drop in of intuitive guidance, you may not hear it because you're used to living in the way we've been conditioned to live, but it's there. So we need to peel back the noise of the ego mind. And as we do that, more of your consciousness is going to be fresh and free, as well as a higher vibration that is more capable of perceiving the intuition more easily. So let me say this, the Tibetans have a spectrum that's super duper helpful in this conversation right now. It's a spectrum of energy and physical. And so one end of the spectrum is called crude, and the other end of the spectrum is called the most subtle. Crude isn't because it's gross necessarily, although they could have meant that when they coined this 5,000 years ago, but it's actually meant to be the most physicalized. I'm going to do it this way. I'm actually doing it for you guys. This is the most physicalized. So a car, a tree. This is the most subtle, and it is a spectrum. So you'll make progress being able to perceive more and more beyond the physical. But it's understood that it's a spectrum. And so if you go up, even our chakra column, the root is the most physically dense. The sacral is emotions. That's the water element. The root is the earth element. The third chakra, solar plexus, is the air element. Pardon me, is the fire element. Fire, to go out and have the power to manifest what you desire, for example, confidence. Heart chakra is the air element. But when we get to the throat chakra, everything up is ether, the etheric, which is totally interesting because in the Vedic sciences behind yoga, they have 5 senses. We only have 4, like in the West, right? They have 5, and the 5th is the ether. Whereas the Chinese also have 5 elements, right? But they have metal beyond what we don't have. So even if you look at that difference, the Chinese are more crudely based, but they focus on the organs, the liver and the kidneys, or everything. And it's the yoga culture that I've learned is able to handle more of that subtle energy on that spectrum. Etheric. So we've got to get you shifted to be able to see and perceive your intuition and hear it and trust it, because trusting is a whole
That was going to be my question. Like, I can get the information, I can get excited, but then my head gets in the way.
Yep. And that's what I'm super good at, honestly.
Yeah.
That really is, it's a genius zone of mine. It's not one of my favorite places to be, but I understand it because I really do. And that's one of the main aspects of this year too, is learning how to come out of the logic to go into the how. So you get a desire and you're like, I'm doing it. This is great. And then, okay, so what is that going to look like? I'm going to have to reach out to my team. I'm going to have to do this strategy. I'm going to have to do that. And so then you lose it. It doesn't even necessarily, it depends on your vibration and how high you are, frankly, how much work you've done on your consciousness. Cause you could get like the first 2 steps. What I've understood is there's a process to it. Hey, you're not going to get all of it downloaded at once. You get the upswing and then you live it. What I've seen is people live with the clearings and activations in my program, Magic Manifestation and Money Flow. And this is designed as a smaller laboratory of that bigger program, this package I'm offering. And so as they go through it and they open up more, they're able to start to see how they don't trust themselves. And they're also able to see more beyond those blinders, peripheral vision, it's all opening up. And so then I'm teaching them how to do this, and as well as tuning up their system to do that. And that's what this package is in a much smaller, condensed, lesser way. I have to say lesser because it is a process. They start to be able to understand that, okay, so I had a clearing and activation. And then when you go for a walk later, or when you're in the shower later, or when you're just sitting there relaxing later, the how comes in. Okay, so let me write an email to that person. It doesn't come in that more pushy way that the ego mind is with the strategies and plans.
Yeah.
It's so much more elegant. And there is a whole host of stuff to get people to come out of the doing. You guys, look I've lived around the world. I've traveled it. I've lived around the world. I have a PhD. I've written 4 books. I have a multiple 6-figure business, and I'm a doer. That's why I'm saying that. I've had to apply these to myself too. And even this year, I'm noticing like there is this discernment. I started doing this like many years ago, but really this last year, moving into even before it became the new year, there's how do I say this? There's more room, there's more of a vibrational backdrop to see and perceive how you go automatically into the how and the logic, the concrete sequential, so that you don't apply that Newtonian-based old paradigm conditioning you have to this new paradigm where those tools don't help us to succeed as much as these things I've been talking about, because of the new vibrational backdrop we're living in and will be increasingly moving forward.
Makes a lot of sense. Very good. Thank you. Very good. All right.
Cool.
So Dolores said, this is so very exciting. I just understood a whole lot of what has been affecting my life. I have felt I am in the wrong place for a long time, but have not figured out how to get out of it. Now I realize I just have to be very clear about what I want and let the universe give it to me.
No, stop that. Please don't put that pressure on yourself. This is another thing. You have to be really clear about what you want, because if you're not, then you're going to have a miscreation. We're not that much in control. It is a co-creation, right? So one of the ways to learn how to actually have something better show up, I'm going into whole new territory, that's why I paused. To have something better show up beyond what your mind is able to consider. So you guys, the mind is myopic. You may get a new desire about where to move to, and it may elevate you. And then yes. What was her name? Laura? It's okay. I think it was Laura.
No,
Say?
Dolores.
Dolores. Okay. Sorry. I heard Laura. So you could also have it be a way to surrender more, to allow the all-seeing to help you with that. So you could live in a question of, or a prayer of, can you please help me see what is the best location for me to move to? So you're cueing the guidance to come in, you're cueing the co-creation to happen, so it can turn out better than what you can consider, because you know what you know, but you only know what you only know. So do you ever get onto like, I'll get on calls and I'll be like talking to somebody new about something new I'm expanding my life into, and I'll be like, hey man, I don't do your job. I don't know what to ask you. What questions would you ask if you were me? And that leads a whole bunch of new information, right? So if I'm talking to an accountant, that's what I did with my first accountant. You know, what could I be asking here that I'm not aware of that would help me understand more? So it's the same kind of thing. Like, what else? It's living from what else is possible and inviting the universe to show you. And so you're way beyond like, I have to be right about this choice.
And but that I'm so glad that Dolores, that you brought that up, because I think because again, with the whole like asking and waiting, is you have to be very clear on what it is that you're asking, right? That's part of the whole myth behind it, I'm assuming, right? That clear. So is it more, so you phrase the question of getting the information, and then also, is there a piece of understanding the feeling behind, like what is the like ease, like you might not have the picture yet, but I want ease and peace and that kind of a thing, like the feeling behind it. And the vision maybe is way different than what you could even envision.
Yeah. So you can start it like you're starting a car. You could start it like, I want more ease with my business, or I want more ease with having more clients come in, or I want more ease with the clients I have coming in. Can you please help me, show me how to do that? That's as specific as you need to get. in this beginning stage, because it changes as we go through the process. There's more specific questions, and there's a specific way to work with the questions, and a specific way to, and it's okay that you don't.
Right.
For that answer, it is okay to just ask for what you want, but also know there's adjustments we need to make from being used to, for those of us that pray and are used to praying. It's not just surrender, let go, and let God. It's stay connected. It's a partnership. You have agency over your life. You have choices to make, and you have actions to take. 2013, this is going to get a little bit funny. 2013, I started to say, Jesus has come off the cross. I had stand under the night sky to perceive what's happening. And then it ends up, my meditation too ends up helping me understand more this vibrational backdrop I've been leading people through since 2011, even before 2012. And so one of the things I got was that, what does that mean? Jesus has come off the cross. It took me like a month to have that come into my conscious awareness, to understand it. It was so big. And what it meant was what I just said, like not just giving up agency over your life to a higher force. It's a partnership. We're down here. We're creating what we're experiencing as our world, and we're meant to step into much more of that awareness and conscious creation. It's conscious co-creation. So we create a better world for all of us.
I love that. All right. So I saw a couple questions about sorry guys, the timer on the page is reset. So it's good now. I overlooked that this morning. So that's good now. Offer timer is back up. And so the other question I want to have, because Bobby wrote this, and we have a lot of people in our community that might not have the same issue, but are in a similar kind of place. But Bobby wrote, what if I'm disabled, no job, nearly blind, isolated? I know she has a lot of health issues. So what do you do then when you're like, your reality is this?
Dude, all you got to do is sit in a chair and listen to the clearings and activations, and that will start to elevate you. And you go from there. And you watch as you open, you watch as new possibilities created in your life because of working with the system that I'm presenting, frankly. Literally, you're sitting and listening, and most people will knock out and go to sleep when they first start using my work if they're new to my work. And so you're clearing your system and you're clearing out the blocks. And so you're going to start to have more space with a higher vibration for new ideas to come in that will take you out of that existence and elevate it.
Very good. Solis says, please clear all fears and victim mentality and create ease and grace. I'm very grateful for Dr. Allison and her energies, knowledge, and wisdom. That's very true. The fears and the victim mentality, which I'm sure is all part of let's just talk about the program and then let's work with people. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Because I think
Let me talk about the victim thing for a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
So like I used to do for a decade in service because of humanity's awakening times and what it was disrupting in people from I think it was 2011 until COVID hit. Every month, a free monthly call. I started to say around 2016, if you're addicted to the struggle paradigm, I'm not the right mentor for you. And I say that because we're not meant to struggle. We have been conditioned to do that. And yes, I am fully acknowledging that there are fires in Los Angeles, flooding, all of it. We are not meant to struggle. We are making the choices that are causing the struggle. Those fires in LA are happening for a reason because of choices made prior. Buddha says something really cool. It's one of my favorite quotes by Buddha. Wherever you go, your thoughts follow you. So you could think of it like there's a carriage behind you and you're carrying the thoughts you thought of yesterday, and you're out there leading the way, creating your today from the thoughts you had yesterday. Joyous thoughts allow for more joy to get created. Destructive thoughts allow for more destruction to get created. So this is a whole nother conversation. But the victim mentality, on my podcast interviews, I say this a lot, and I'll say it to you guys because it stirs stuff up, and I'm a disruptor in order for the change to help you guys through it. The struggle that you perceive is there for a reason externally in the collective, because we are going through humanity's greatest evolutionary leap. So no matter your age, no matter your gender, no matter your culture, no matter your race, no matter your ethnicity, however we want to say that, all of that, you were conditioned, like maybe our family, people like us don't make more than basic minimum wage. People like us don't get to let people like them. Sure, people like them can have that. I can't have that. And even the socio-political, socioeconomic aspects of our globalization, completely with you. Nonetheless, it's up to each of us to go beyond those limitations. So even with all the real socioeconomic, sociopolitical, all of the real difficulties, look at the world we're living in now. I have 2 people from India on my staff. I have 2 people from the Philippines on my staff. It is rising. Whereas before it was poverty as a choice only. The split in India is vast between the wealthy and the poor, but now there's a middle class and working from home. So it's like rising above the victim mentality. You are not victim to anything but your thoughts. And even those absolutely, wow, I'm stuttering. That went in there. You're not a victim to anything outside of you, because you are creating it with what's inside of you that you're experiencing outside of you. And so what I'm all about is coming out of that victim. I could look at myself as a victim. You don't have any power that way.
Yeah, good stuff. All right. Valda, I think, am I saying your name correctly? You have such great advice. I would love your messages, though, are going to just Alison and I. So if you can change that so that everybody can see them, they're really good stuff that you have in there. So thank you. All right. So let's talk about the program. Then we'll talk one-on-one with callers. Is that okay?
Yeah, some peeps.
Okay, good. So here's the link, guys. You can copy and paste, click, and I'll share my screen so we can go through it as soon as I find the button. All right. So, ancient secret codes for modern manifestation help the universe hear your true desires, which is exactly what we're talking about here with Dr. Allison, and elevate into natural success patterns, going bigger and bolder in these prolific new energies available to everyone now. I will go down to the items unless there's a piece of this that you want to go over as we go through it. So you stop me, okay?
Yep.
Here's some stories that you guys definitely want to read of people that have worked and shifted with Dr. Allison. And I remember from our first call that we did together last year, the comments from people that have worked with you that come in on the chat they're nonstop.
Yeah.
I always get those when I have people on. So these are pretty impressive. And as you'll see today, people are writing in as well.
Yeah, honestly, Gretchen, that's an important point. You guys can hear the intensity behind me. I'm passionate about this. It's my mission. It's my purpose. I feel like purpose is heavy, so I call it passion and mission. What I do works. That's why I keep doing it. On another big summit that I'm on, they told me that with the hundreds and hundreds of people they have coming on, my testimonials are like above and beyond. I say that because what I do works. So what I'm saying, what I'm communicating to you, the manifesting works, but you got to take it into the co-creation level.
Yeah, nice. That as I'm scrolling, that brought up a question because we were talking about the whole clarity piece and that piece of what you want and knowing what you want. When you talk about we're only consciously aware of 5% to 15% of what's going on. So I'm assuming that means for your wants as well, right? So these thoughts, are there thoughts and things that we want that we haven't even accessed yet because we're not even aware of what's going on within ourselves?
Oh my God, I'd hug you if we were together. Thank you for asking that, Gretchen. I could get up right now. And I could, even though we're on share screen, we could move come out of shared screen, and I could take you to my bedroom and show you a note I wrote to myself. What else is possible here that I've not yet asked for? Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
And that's the area of play I love to be in. And the people get to when they've worked with me long enough. I don't mean to say like decades. It's not that long because again, I'm speeding up the process tremendously. But when they give me enough time to be able to really have them embody this for themselves, it's phenomenal. This is okay. So once their system is like this flute that they can play for co-creation, what else is possible here that I've not yet asked for? Like we're bringing in the cutting edge. It's really phenomenal.
Yeah.
Because we
Very.
can't, so that's a type of surrender. I know that a lot of memes confuse people about surrender. That's one of the types of surrender, is surrender to the all-knowing, and know that your consciousness is connected to that all-knowing. It's not something outside of you. You bring it down and you access it.
Yeah. Nice. Thank you. I'm glad I asked that.
I am too.
Okay. So
So I want to talk about the attunements, Gretchen. That's what I
okay.
want to do.
Go ahead. Yep.
All right. So if you guys, have you scrolled down to the list? I'm on the page on my screen.
Yep.
Oh, wow, you're right there in the specifics. Fantastic. So there are 2 attunements, and this is different than the clearings and activations that I do, y'all. This is an entirely different technology. So the first one is open up to flow and new possibilities. The second one is allowing yourself to have what you really want. This was the fastest way I could find to be able to get you guys shifted into more of what I'm talking about, because these attunements I don't use in my magic manifestation and money flow program. The masterminders of up practitioners have been the ones that have bought these the most. This isn't even a page on my website. This is a different technology that is not remote healing. You get an MP3 to listen to activate the attunement, but as soon as you purchase it, they both start. You only have to listen to the MP. It's the same MP3 for both of them. You could go through and say, okay, now I'm activating, I'm opening up the attunement, open up to flow and new possibilities, and listen to the MP3 once. Realistic, what I'm hearing too, is you could also just say, I'm opening up, allowing yourself to have what you really want attunement, and open up to flow and new possibilities. You could do it together. You don't have to do it separately. It depends on you and your intentionality and the power of your intentionality. I don't want you to think you could be doing something wrong, so you must listen to both of them or be at a certain level to listen to it one time only. I'm getting too complicated. I'm sorry. For you guys, what you need to know is this is going to expand. It's such a cool technology. This is going to be with you forever. So an activation, a clearing and activation, which you're going to experience in just a bit, people are all the MP3s you're getting. So you want to listen and re-listen to them. The attunements, you don't have to. The attunements are something that opens up in your consciousness. And as you make choices that are more from these energies, it grows even more. It's with you forever. So the first one, open up to flow and new possibilities, I think is obvious why you'd get that. I wonder, did we not list the qualities of it? We didn't. Gretchen, am I able to share the screen? This is going to take me a minute because
But I think I have to do something here.
you do.
I'm like, what do I have to do? Oh,
You're gonna, I'm sorry, I didn't catch this when we were going back and forth.
okay. I'm gonna make you a co-host.
Thanks. You're gonna want to have this on the landing page for the people to see because
Okay.
it's crucial. Please, thanks. Come on, how's it get any better than this? Quick and easy, please. Attunements. Groovy. I gotta get back to the Zoom window now. You guys like the narration?
The play-by-play.
Yeah. Wow. How many windows do you have up? There you are. Okay, cool. Okay. So again, this is a hidden page on my website. So there's 6 of these, yeah? So I'm going to go right down to show you the aspects. So this is the third attunement, open up to flow and new possibilities. By purchasing this also special open up to flow and new possibilities attunement, you will first be opened so that you are then receiving a divine flow of energetic support that will leave you surprised at how much things are flowing, including sometimes astonishingly quickly. It's like a floodgate gets opened. It can be slower depending on how many blocks you have. So some of you may not notice anything right at first because it's working on deeper blocks and you can't yet perceive it. It depends on how much work you've already done on yourself. So I have this attunement especially designed for me and you due to how much I work in the field of unlimited possibilities and connect my peeps working with me to it. So that's the name I've coined, the field of unlimited possibilities beyond our field that you're talking to with your field. It is especially created for these times now as we begin to co-create our new golden era. You will be attuned to the new possibilities and step into your own flow. What this attunement gives you in great power increasingly over time. It helps you open to more flow in areas desired. It helps you do what's needed to create flow with ease. So some of you who are weaker on the follow through, this is meant to help you there. Support you in taking initiative towards things you want. Opens you to a place of all is possible, even where you were previously hopeless. It's a core frequency to this attunement. Clears deep blocks in the way of having what you desire in a timely manner. Doesn't mean that it's going to be automatic, but it helps in that regard tremendously. Clears where you feel like everything is arduous and taking so much time, so things happen with more ease, more often, and much quicker. Clears where you've lost desire and initiative to do something, so you can get those nudges to do it with a raised vibration and therefore more likely to follow through and take that action that will help you co-create what you're desiring. Because that's where I see a lot of people fall down to. They don't follow through on that intuitive guidance.
Yes.
Yep. Clears where you've been in resistance to the new and making and helping you instead to make choices that will co-create the new. Opens up in your mind more perspective. Those peripheral blinders are lessened to be more open-minded to new possibilities that will help you with what you desire. So all of that is an attunement, the first item in the package. The second attunement, it's a huge technology, is allowing yourself to have what you really want. It takes you to new levels whilst you have it be a spiritual experience, but also have the material benefits that you seek. So I'm very focused on the material plane, magic manifestation and money flow. My work, it's very focused on physical outcomes. It's not just the spiritual stuff because of some of the reasons you actually heard me in my growth and progress as I came back to the States and who I be inherently. So the allowing yourself to have what you really want will be clearing deep blocks around it's not spiritual to want, and it's greedy or egoic to want, and it's not good for the earth to want, and anything your system has around this bottom line belief, it's bad for me to want, fill in the blank, to want anything. It's just bad for me to want. Good luck and good fortune I don't know, it's not activated, but it's opened. And this attunement, which I was really happy about, allowing yourself to have what you really want will be easier when you have more good luck and more good fortune working in your favor. There are blessings on your path to having what you want in a way that delights you. So you're not having to work hard. It's not like in a way that delights you. It's like this whole envelope of energy and frequencies that's opposite of, oh my God, another miscreation. Oh my God, I don't want to deal with this. How much does that happen as an adulting on our planet now? So it's to help lighten your experience on the planet, clearing out of potential random external obstacles. I do a lot of work here myself with this, with stuff I learned over in Asia, clearing out of potential internal obstacles. So where you have alignment with success, that's clearing out of potential internal obstacles so you will have alignment with success. It's a repatterning where now your alignment with negative occurrences, struggle, difficulties, obstacles, hesitations, resistance, it's replaced with alignment with success, delays, success, so that your vibration is more screaming out, communicating out, I expect success, not obstacles or difficulties. Clearing inner resistance to actually having what you want in a joyous way that works for you. You don't have to get punished or pay for getting what you want or have some negative circumstance happen as a result because you're getting what you want. You don't lose people because you're getting what you want. Clearing deep blocks like self-worth, fear of your own power. And also, I want this yeah, but reasons for not doing things that are often logical and sometimes not. If I were to have a more bustling business, I'd have to hire more staff. So I don't want to do that because what is that going to lead to? I'm going to have to put out more money. Am I going to have to manage more people? No, so I don't want to have my business be more bustling, is the unconscious conclusion. So you energetically keep the business smaller. Strongly present as a thread throughout this attunement is having what you really want and really wanting it in a way that works for you, in ways that are delightful. That's a theme with this one. There's so much conditioning about getting what you want is bad. You don't ever get what you want. You have to go through hell to get what you want. So clearing out also as a part of this attunement, clearing out unconscious and subconscious limits due to age or gender or worthiness or DNA or family or self-perceptions that are unfavorable, like how far you can actually go. Removing those limits and removing the negative perceptions your ego mind and system have that affect what shows up in your life. So breaking through your limits is a core part of that. So you can see, so Gretchen, should I send you that now and let Hanny
I have it. I'll add it. Yeah.
You have this page link? Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
do.
Yep.
Here's, okay. So that's huge. The 2 attunements alone, you guys, the way that I'm meant to be doing the attunements, it's really weird. And it was challenging, honestly, to get used to, or interesting to get used to, not challenging. These attunements are depending. So I had to tune in when I'm working with somebody one-on-one and they request an attunement. I have to tune in, and they start at 1,300 and they go all the way up to $5,000. And depending on the person's level of blocks and work they've done on themselves, they either need more work, so it's like a $5,000, or they are wanting to blast out like a new global project and assemble a global worldwide leaders team, and it's a big desire, and so they'll go 5K. If you already have an attunement, one of these two that are offered here with Gretchen, you're going to build on it. So the more you have, the more it compounds. So if I'm only able to start you people that I don't know and don't work with for the most part. Some of you are here who work with me. I can only start you at the beginning level of 1,300. So it's $1,300 worth of frequencies with these
Wow.
you just read. And that's only the first 2 items of the package. But yeah, the attunements is super fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
All right.
they are. Thank you.
Let me hold on.
Take your time.
Now I lost my page.
I can feel you guys out there appreciating it. Like, it's a lot of information, isn't it? But I can feel you guys going, wow.
Yeah.
There's a lot to being able to successfully co-create and live from the question and create beyond what you've been able to create before. It's a science, and this is a step-by-step, and everything that's in this package is to help you get there sooner. And it's not like you have to know everything that I'm talking about. Just listening to this stuff will shift you. And then new choices will need to get made. Yeah. And then we have the 3 part of this, actually, which I'm super stoked about, is you get 3 live sessions with me. So
Yeah.
if you guys buy this now, yeah, you listen to the clearings and activations, as many of these as possible. Remembering you only have to listen to the 2 for the MP3 for the 2 attunements one time. All the other MP3s, manifest more money.
Oh, let me get up there. Yep. Manifest more money.
And all of the other items that are MP3s, you listen to as much as possible. And then I can move you further on the live events. It's 3 days in a row. So it acts like an immersion. So I can really get at your systems and shift you after and whilst you're listening to all of these. So there's also the 30-day remote healing support, which is.
When is the 3-day immersion? I don't see that on here. I need to get that on the page too. Do you know?
I do. Give me just a sec. I believe it's in the 11th and 12th and 13th.
Okay.
February 11th.
Okay.
12th.
Perfect. Thank you. I'll make sure those are added as well. And then we have, okay, 30-day remote healing as well.
Yeah, so that's an undercurrent. And people work with me just for the remote healing I do. I cannot do that level of remote healing on people I've not yet worked with. I only offer remote healing in my mastermind program for the people who are working on self-mastery and mastery over the manifestation process and becoming vibrational upgrade practitioners. I dial it down for you guys because it would be too much healing, frankly.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, so it's like an undercurrent of lightness. The way I describe it to people coming into magic, manifestation, and money flow is you're entering a matrix that's going to surround you and envelop you. Like I said, I've designed this to be as robust as possible for you, and a smaller version of magic manifestation and money flow. You're not going to get everything you get because there's modules and all that and 3M, but this is with the attunements, man. I'm excited to see how far I can get you guys. Item 4 is really fun too. I love this one, sacred site and sacred ley line buttressing. So part of the training at the Dragon Master level and Grand Dragon Master level I give to Vibrational UPgrade practitioners over in the UK is we go to sacred sites. This was recorded from a real feminine site in Glastonbury, England, from the heart chakra of the planet. It has incredibly magical energy, the land there, where I'm sitting right there. And actually, I was with Vibrational UPgrade practitioners on retreat. And I recorded this. That's item 4. It's a clearing and activation on wherever you're holding yourself back. Item 5, yeah, it's super sweet. Item 5 is removing the habituation to problems and struggle and replacing it with awe, optimistic expectations, and good fortune. Look at that shift, yeah?
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, so this is going to help you guys. The MP3s, the clearings and activations are a great part of not only the energy medicine, but it's also the applied mindfulness, because you might not hear, and this happens all the time when people work with me, they don't hear everything that's on a clearing and activation MP3 at first, especially the older version that I use, because they have so many blocks, they can't even hear it. It's phenomenal. And then they'll listen to it for a month and they'll be like, was that always on there? It acts like proof in the subtle, like that, of how consciousness works. You know, that people couldn't hear that before because of the blocks that they have. And so as we clear out layers, more can rise to the surface so that you're much more free. So so these clearings and activations will help you become more aware, observant, like we develop the observer with a capital O in the meditation, as well as conscious of your self-talk in regards to this whole package's intention, becoming the co-creator you are without struggle.
Nice.
6 is fun too. Self-mastery within, reclaim your self-mastery within and accelerate your revenue growth. So 2 of these 4 MP3s are about money directly, dealing with money blocks, especially item 3, pure money blocks. Item 6 is how your self-talk leads to your level of money. Then that limited time bonus, I love that thing. I absolutely love the clearing. I love that. Going bigger with your manifestations. So it's allowing you to get bigger with your asks. So we're like that question I did earlier, what else is possible here beyond what I've even know to ask for? What else is possible here beyond what I've yet to ask for? So like allowing yourself to go into that territory. This last one, the limited time bonus, clearings and activations to allow yourself to manifest bigger visions. It's like the concept of getting yourself out of the way, but not really. Getting the ego mind out of the way and letting the parts of you speak that really are rooting for you. And helping your inner cheerleader like really step up and help you go bigger. And it doesn't mean you're going to be like uncomfortable necessarily. It's just allowing yourself to open up and go bigger. Your asks. So that limited time bonus is pretty advanced, frankly.
Nice. And that's available through Sunday. So you guys can, you have until then to decide if you want that as part of your package. All right. So right now the program is $247. As you can see, the total value, the activations alone are $1,300 a piece. So
You mean?
the attunements. Yeah. The attunements. Yes. So you can see that. Also, I want to click on this so you guys can see it. If you would, I haven't looked. I don't know if any sessions are gone yet, but there is only 25 available, and you have to use them by the end of January. So you have a very quick turnaround here for sessions to get in with Alison. So there are a limited amount of those if you would like a session.
Gretchen, I want to just correct that because I misspoke. Please forgive me. I need you guys to schedule it. February, there are dates in February also open, but I need you guys to get in there and schedule it before the end of January. I am not going to deliver these beyond mid-February.
Got it. Perfect, which is a great thing because if you want a session, a lot of times it takes a while. Dr. Allison opened those up quickly for you. And as you heard her talk earlier, she doesn't really do sessions like this very often. So this is a gift to our community, which I'm so grateful for. So thank you for that.
Yeah, there are some signed up.
Awesome. All right. So we could talk all day. I could talk and pick
Yeah,
it all day long. So let's talk to a few callers. Would you like to do that now?
I would love to play with you all out
All
there.
right. Great. So first in line is Natasha. Natasha, you can unmute now.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
welcome.
great. Oh, thank you. I was wondering if it would be possible for Dr. Allison to tune into my field. I did have a session with you, but it was last year, and there are some blocks, as you would call them,
Wow.
and it's stuck energy for just different reasons.
Yeah, your solar plexus, as you were just starting to speak, deflated. Are you in a
Yeah.
are you in a power struggle with anybody, or do you?
Yes, I am actually. It's a relationship power struggle that is related to finances and just a lot of emotional things as well. So there does seem to be, when you were talking earlier about the throat chakra and the solar plexus, that seemed to resonate.
I'm with you. All right, I gotta shift out of and into. Okay, so we're gonna do a clearing and activation right now. You guys get ready. If you're driving or operating an airplane or a bulldozer, please stop. If you're caring for an elderly person or a young person, please don't be doing anything that requires your full attention because you are going to get into an altered state. So Natasha, let me just tune in a little bit more and perceive what clearing and activation framing would actually help you the most. Okay, so when I'm done asking this question, Natasha, you're going to want to say yes out loud. And then all of you say yes out loud, even though we're not going to unmute you because it invites the energy in and it's a free will universe. So Natasha and all of you, because this is going to apply to all of you, I wonder what you too, Gretchen, I wonder what the version of you is like where you're valuing yourself more, ever increasingly with grace and ease. Anything and everything that does not allow for that with grace and ease and joy and fun, would you be willing to burn up with the flames of transmutation?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm going to be silent for a few moments here. So any and all of the traumas and their ensuing free-floating thoughts that are in any way limiting you from finding out what the version of you is like, where you value yourself more and more, ever increasingly, burning all of those traumas up and their ensuing free-floating thoughts. That continues to run. All imprints from your parents and lineage that are in any way limiting you from finding out what the version of you is like, where you are valuing yourself more and ever increasingly with ease and grace and joy and fun. Burning all imprints up from your parents and ancestry, hindering this in any way. All conditioning, hindering this, burning that out. All karma as appropriate, hindering this, burning that karma up. Natasha, inhale, exhale, please, through the nostrils. All of you can, it'll create more space to receive more from this. Do it again, please. So I'll burn it up right now with the karma. Across all levels of your and across all timelines, lifetimes, and dimensions, all contracts, oaths, vows, and swearings you've ever taken or made that are keeping you tethered to the old timeline where you have power struggles, around money, where you have power struggles with money, burning up everything keeping you tethered to that old timeline and bringing you onto the new timeline now. You're valuing yourself and you're finding out what this version of you is like ever increasingly, and doing so with ease and joy and grace and fun that shows up in all areas of your life, including your relationships and your relationship with money. And across all levels of your consciousness, all of the beliefs, the judgments, the conclusions, the assessments, the evaluations, the storylines, the entrenched thought patterns, any hidden or secret agendas, the expectations, the projections. We're burning it all up now whether I've named it or not, that is in any way hindering you from finding out what the version of you is like. You are valuing yourself more, ever increasingly. And it's happening with ease and grace and joy and fun. And it shows up in all areas of your life, including within your relationships and any power struggles there, and within any power struggles with money. Now, with the flames of transmutation, some of you may want to be seated with your palms facing up so you can increase the receptivity. Good. Yeah. Good. Inhaling and exhaling. Some of you are doing good. Lots coming off the sacral, lower belly, solar plexus, upper belly, and off the shoulders. So you may be feeling this at your calves. Don't worry if you're not perceiving or feeling anything. Everybody has different levels of that. Okay, let's activate the upgrade now. Good. So any and all latent keys and codes within you and around you, inherent talents and ancient wisdom within you, and any and all blessings and support possible to bring this all into alignment for your highest potential and your highest possibilities. That was for your highest potential and your highest possibilities to become physically realized. Activating the upgrade now. Okay.
Thank you. I could feel that.
Where?
I feel much lighter now, but I could feel it actually being released or lifted off of me. I could feel it in the lower chakras. And then also when you said support, I could feel it right in my heart. Coming
Excellent.
right in. So thank you kindly.
Yeah, you're welcome, Natasha. There was a lot of, it's karma with this, and I don't just dismiss and go to karma as like default. I think you know that about my work.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks. There was a chunk of karmic stuff involved with this power struggle that just.
Yeah. Absolutely. You tuned in perfectly. And I believe that you're right because I've been working on it to the best of my ability. And it felt very dense and very old.
Yes, dense. Oh my God, yeah. Like reptilian, archaic.
Yeah, that's a way to put it. Yes. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. And I will hopefully work with you again. Thank you.
It's my honor.
Awesome. Thank you, Natasha. We all benefited from that. So thank you for being here.
I'm not going to go into clearings and activations for everybody we call on. Sometimes it's just going to be a question. Answer, yeah.
Yeah. Brenda says, I could really feel that. Marion says, as soon as I faced my palms upwards, the energy started moving very strong everywhere in the body.
Excellent. Yeah, remember, I'm a yoga teacher.
That's right.
And Qigong.
All right. Next is Mona.
Mona.
Hello. Hi, Dr. Alison and Gretchen.
Hello. Welcome.
Hi, Mona. Lovely lotus blossom.
Oh, thank you. My question is about my relationship with my mother.
Oh, boy.
Last 2 weeks.
Pick something light.
Something happened. Okay, it's been happening for a while, but something financial happened in 2021, and it has been challenging, and she's become very ill. And the last 2 weeks, I've really had to dig deep to find love and compassion within me. So that's why I'm here today to ask, what's this thing going on with me and my mother?
So I'm being shown a couple of things. One of them I'm going to ask about first. It's the most obscure. I'm being shown like slapping you down. And I don't mean to say you, because I was being shown your dynamic in another lifetime and possibly this lifetime. I don't know. That's why I'm turning it back to you. Who has been slapping who down as if saying you're not good enough, or who's holding the holier than thou
My sister.
position?
My sister.
Okay, so the very first thing I perceived, it's interesting you went to your sister. The very first thing I perceived was you're taking on in dealing with stuff that isn't yours and you need to step back. Look at that.
Okay.
Tell me what your response other than is to that here.
Yeah. there seems to be this thing happening with my mother and my sister, and my mother's always listening to my sister, and then she's not happy about the decisions she makes as a result of listening to my sister. And I believe, I feel that I'm coming from a rescuer place that for my mother. So what you're saying makes so much sense.
So rescuer is a victim that's still dealing with the victim paradigm.
Yes.
And so let me give a story. I think that this is going to help. I would love to just whip into another clearing and activation here, but I need to actually check in about the rightness of that for you and everybody, because it's medicine.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with the story. I remember I was driving back. This is a good teaching. I had reasoned out with my logic that it makes sense for me to go. This is back when I was fresh back to the States and looking to expand my business and grow it and doing more locally in-person stuff. And there was this place that worked with brain stuff. I don't remember its name right now, but I reasoned out that, hey, that makes sense. I do so much work with the mind and consciousness. Let me go check this place out. Absolutely no connection there with the people I spoke with. So I left after a brief meeting. And then as I was driving home, I got almost to the point that my car was steering itself. And this was not a lane assist car. There was none of that technology in the car. And I ended up seeing a chiropractor's office sign, and I went in. And when I went, and ultimately I ended up working with all of them, the office manager, the massage therapist, and the chiropractor himself. And the chiropractor, I'll never forget this. I was giving him a session one time, and he asked me, he was going through a divorce, and I had learned was drinking himself through the divorce. And he said to me, do you think people have to hit rock bottom? And I waited, like you see me do with each of you, listened and perceived. And I was surprised by the answer, because it was, yes, in these times, because a great part of what we're coming out of is each of us recognizing the power that we have inherently to create, and that in fact we are creating all the time, and that in fact this power also requires us to step up our level of responsibility and self-mastery over ourselves. Wow. And he did have to hit rock bottom. I was so surprised by that, because prior to that I had always felt help. So that was like the transition out of the rescuer into hands off. People have to use their own choice and their own power to speak up and ask for the help. If they're not, we don't offer it. Now, in the dynamics applied to your mom, bringing that back down into this reality, this is going to look like, what are you going to choose now hearing that?
I've been practicing that the last few days, where I've stepped back, and it's been uncomfortable.
Absolutely. Yes, it will be.
Yeah. And then I find my husband telling me, oh, but you aren't being kind to your mom when you're stepping back. I guess
Yep.
that's what happens, right?
Are you in India?
No, I'm in Johannesburg, South Africa.
Oh, this is South Africa. Joburg, you're the Joburg girl. Yeah, you're going to have that conditioning. You're supposed to say your mom, and how dare you choose for yourself, says
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so hold on a second, because this is so resonant with the times we're in. So Mona, what about overgiving? Do you perceive that you overgive?
Oh, absolutely. To the extent that I feel it in my adrenals.
Okay. Wow. So that's the old form of the feminine. It's not the new form of the feminine. So overgiving. So the first clearing we just did on valuing yourself is going to help a lot. Saving, rescuing, hero archetype, all of that has collapsed. It doesn't hold up in these times, in this vibrational backdrop. And good on you, Mona, for perceiving that and understanding that. Your husband isn't yet. Okay, hold on a second. I'm getting okay, we're going to do one. So anywhere and everywhere you're taking on more than what's yours and it's weighing you down, would you be willing to burn up anything and everything causing that with the flames of transmutation?
Yes, yes.
So you guys might want to have your palms face up again. So all of the traumas and their ensuing free-floating thoughts in any way causing you to overgive and take on more than what's yours from other people, burning all those traumas up in their ensuing free-floating thoughts. You guys might be spacey, yawning, burping, tingles. All of the imprints from your power. Wait, hold on. I got to restate that. All of the traumas and their ensuing free-floating thoughts causing you to take on more than what's yours and overgive, burning those traumas up. All of the imprints from your parents and lineage causing you to take on more than what's yours and overgive, burning those imprints up from your parents and ancestry. Good. That was a lot right there. And as those continue to run, all of the conditioning causing you to take on more than what's yours and overgive, burning that conditioning up. Gretchen, you just had a pop. All of the karma as appropriate, causing you to take on more than what's yours and overgive, burning that up as appropriate. And across all timelines, lifetimes, and dimensions, all contracts, oaths, vows, and swearings you've ever taken or made that keep you tethered to the old timeline where you take on more than what's yours. You burden yourself with the responsibility of working through other people's stuff, taking on their energy and what is actually theirs to take care of, including even though it looks like you should be as a good daughter or a good wife or a good mother or a good husband or a good dad or a good son should be doing. And you end up overgiving, burning all of that up, keeping you tethered to that old timeline. Bring you onto the new timeline now, where you allow yourself to step up more on your own behalf and be present more on your own behalf, valuing yourself. And across all levels of your consciousness, the beliefs, the definitions, the conclusions, the judgments, the evaluations, any hidden or secret agendas, habitual storylines, entrenched trains of thought, expectations and projections. We're burning it all up now. That which is causing you to take on more than what's yours and overgive with the flames of transmutation. See a lot coming off the back of your heart chakra, Mona, in others. It's a lot pouring out the root too. Some of you may want to click your feet to kick your feet together. Okay, let's activate the upgrade now. So any and all latent keys and codes within you and around you, inherent talents and ancient wisdom within you, and any and all blessings and support possible to bring this all into alignment for your highest potential and your highest possibilities to become physically realized. Activating the upgrade now. Okay, I need to step away from the computer for a moment. I gotta shake this off. I'll be right back. Mona, how you doing?
Whoa, bit spacey. But I feel a beautiful fluttering in my heart.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. And there was a lump that was coming in my throat when you started, but
Yeah.
that's cleared up now.
Yeah, you had a lot clearing in your throat. I ended up with that's part of why I had to step away.
Okay. And my hands are tingling quite a bit right now.
Okay, so Your hands are connected to the heart chakra, and because you got release in your heart chakra, that's why you would feel increased in your hands in part.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you, Dr. Allison.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mona, for being here. You helped so many of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gretchen.
You're very welcome. Yeah, lots of comments here. Marion's feeling much lighter. Jean says, that was awesome. Tingling in the back of my head and my nasal area. Bobby
So-
says, thank you. Yeah, good stuff. All right, we are over 2 hours. And so that was a really powerful call with really powerful sessions here on the end. I'd love to bring you back and be able to talk more one-on-one with people in the next couple weeks before your live session starts. So I think that would be fun.
Let me see. My schedule is super dense right now in a good way. There's so
Good.
much activity happening here. So thanks for that invite. I always love to come and play with you, Gretchen.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. This was such a great call. I mean, everything. Like I said, I could talk to you forever. I learned so much. I don't know about you guys, but I learned a ton today. So it was very good. And this program looks spectacular. The attunement. Yeah,
Excited.
I'm definitely diving in because I definitely, like I said, January 1st, I was like, ooh, big stuff's coming. So this is what I need next step. So it's fabulous. So
I'm
thank you
excited to be
for that.
offering. It's quite a package. Honestly, you guys.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Look at the charts. So you guys are already doing it. Let's show Dr. Allison how much we love her and appreciate her and are so grateful for her time with us here today. I think this is a record time for how long we've spent with somebody. So thank you for that. Yeah.
You're welcome, yeah.
The dates, I think the 11th, 12th, and 13th, I will put them on the page for sure so that we have them there in the time. So you guys have all of that. So just check back on that.
And there'll be replays too if you can't make the live Zoom session, so no worries.
Awesome. I did see somebody ask that. So thank you for that. All right. Thank you, my dear. Such a great call. Really good stuff. Really appreciate you and you being here with us.
Thank you. It was my honor.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for holding space. Such a great call. Appreciate you all and so happy to have you all here. Have a wonderful week, everyone. Bye.
Bye.